Breaking news in a trade in the NBA, Rajon Rondo headed back to L.A. He's going to play for the Clippers. Atlanta is going to receive Lou Williams, insert joke here, and a couple of second-round picks. This according to reports. Now, Rondo this season only averaging 4 points and 3.5 assists per game. Williams averaging 12 points and about 3.5 assists per game. But we know the nickname for Rajon Rondo. That's Playoff Rondo. And for the Clippers, it is all about the playoffs and trying to finally get over that hump. We have Avery Johnson with us. We also have Bill Reiter. Bill, I mean, this kind of really wasn't on our radar. We were thinking of some big names today, and we hadn't really talked about Rajon Rondo, but it makes sense, I guess, for a team that is trying to get over that playoff hump in the Clippers.
Yeah, Chris, and you said it. I mean, Rondo just hasn't played very much at all for Atlanta, including since Nate McMillan took over and has done an incredible job as the head coach. He's playing over that span about 14 minutes a game, about the same he did over the course of the year. So he goes to an organization that clearly wants him, that clearly believes that playoff Rondo is here to stay, is here to continue. And you're right, it's a Clippers organization. I can tell you, they feel a massive amount of pressure. You can't overstate this. To make a deep run this year as it relates to their head coach, their owner, their GM, retaining and keeping Kawhi Leonard happy, Paul George, the fact they moved on from some guys like Montrezl Harrell. And so if Rondo can be a piece for that, it's going to be huge. And Lou Williams is a beloved player with the Clippers, jokes aside. I mean, this is a guy who's obviously had a lot of success here, and he goes to an Atlanta team. Again, a veteran for a veteran swap that can use the shooting. It actually feels like one of those trades that makes sense for both teams.
Yeah, we've been talking about the Magic a lot today. The Magic sending 3 players out of town earlier. Avery, some Magic involved in this trade, too.
Yeah, there's some Magic involved. Lou Williams, so what we've heard, is a real big fan of the Magic City operation in Atlanta. So he's going to be able to eat all the lemon pepper wings and barbecue wings at Magic City now that he's with Atlanta. But seriously, I really love this trade for the Atlanta Hawks. When you look at somebody like Lou Williams, who's going to now be the most accomplished scorer on the Hawks team in terms of his NBA experience. Sure, Trae Young has had a small sample size of scoring the ball, but Lou Williams is a guy that's played, in some deep playoff runs. I know he wants to get the bad taste of last year out of his mouth. This is a team, Atlanta, that's right there in the mix with Miami and Charlotte, those type of teams for the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. And he can play with Trae Young. He can come off the bench, obviously. He can play on the ball, off the ball. This is a guy that can get you buckets at the end of games, especially if a team's going to try to take the ball out of Trae Young's hands. So yes, playoff Rondo hasn't played up to his level of experience this year, but I really love this trade for Atlanta. I like it for the Clippers.
Yeah, and it's not just a 1-for-1 here. Atlanta's also getting a couple second-round picks in the deal. Avery, do you think that was worth it for the Clippers, kind of crossing their fingers, hoping he can do for them what he did for the Lakers last season?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just think, from the Clippers standpoint, Ty Lue, he loves point guards, and he knows Rondo. They've been together, and you look at when Rondo was leading the Celtics to their championships, and you look at what he did last year as a spark plug for the Lakers. This is something that was been a glaring weakness for the Clippers. Sure. Rondo's not a guy that's going to necessarily beat you from behind the three-point line, but playoff Rondo has a way of having this offensive repertoire that becomes expansive in terms of what he shows in the regular season. And I'm sure Ty Lue is banking on this to go along with his 2 bookends in terms of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
And Rondo's the name that's going to stick out in the Clippers as well, because they are a title contender. Bill, though, on that other side of things with the Hawks, I know Avery loves it for them. I think it was around a month ago or so, maybe 3-4 weeks, that we were here talking about Lloyd Pierce getting fired, Nate McMillan stepping up. The Hawks have been a much better team since then. And as Avery said, they're right in the mix for home court advantage in the first round.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, this is a team that, depending on the day, is the top 5 or 6 team in the Eastern Conference. It's obviously bunched together. And you guys, I think, hit on this. It's a great move for Atlanta. And Atlanta's on a very different timeline than the Clippers. The Clippers have to win now. Both those organizations and the folks in the front office, and really the head coaches, maybe less Nate McMillan, are under some pressure. For the Clippers, though, success better happen today, this season, in this playoff run. For the Hawks, respectability in this regular season buys you the time we thought they'd have. They're not expected to be NBA champions this year, but I know that Travis Schlenk, the GM, believes they can compete in 1 or 2 years. So Lou Williams does it. You don't lose anything. Coach just walked us through it. It's a great addition for what they need. And I'm not taking shots at Rondo here because he can be a great leader. But that Atlanta Hawks locker room, guys, this is an open secret in the NBA. It's been borderline toxic before Nate McMillan came in. And so maybe just a little bit in some ways of some personality resets. Lou Williams as a different kind of leader, a different kind of example, a different kind of voice than Rondo might fit what Nate McMillan is hoping to communicate to this young team. I love it for both teams. And for Atlanta, you mentioned the 2 second-round picks. Some of it is they need to be respectable this year. McMillan's gotten them there. And then it's the next few years where they can really extend their goal of making actual runs in the playoffs.
2 of the biggest names on the move today right there, but also Aaron Gordon headed to Denver, Nikola Vucevic on the way to Chicago for the Bulls.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.